All right, guys, we got another side project here. I'm going to make an attachment for my lathe so I could bolt my little grinder to it, put a cutting disc on it, and I'm going to mount these rims on the lathe, and I'm basically just going to cut off, I'm going to cut each rim somewhere around here, and then I'm going to make up like a ball bearing and kind of roll it and press the material. I need to bend this out so that I can reattach the bead back to it. But I'm just gonna cut like, 3 inches out of the middle over here. Leave this, reattach that to a little before the bead so I don't mess with the tire. These are the tires I'm putting on. They're 18 by 9.5s, and unfortunately these rims on the old ATC 125 are like 9 or 9.5 inches across, so they're not really going to seat that well with this tire. So I'm probably going to cut these down, probably take 2 inches out, cut these down to 9 inches, weld them back together, and then I'll still be able to bolt the halves back together. All right, so I have this parting tool in the direction that I'm going to make the holder for the grinder. I came up with this piece of square stock. I'm going to mount this in here like that, drill a hole in the end. That's going to be the bottom bolt for the grinder. You can see has this thread in the top of the bottom. I found 2 screws to go in there, and that's just going to bolt through the bottom, and then I'm going to weld a piece coming up, and I'm going to catch it on the top. All right, I got the hole drilled, screw in, and you can see it's basically going to go like that. This piece will come out. I'm going to attach this to my tool post, and then I'm going to cut the end of this off and weld another bar coming up over the top and just do the same thing. All right, I got a rim in there, and I got the top and bottom pieces drilled and cut. What I'm going to do now is measure the distance between the top bar and the bottom, and then leave my stick out about the same, mark it, cut this piece off on the end, and use that for my piece to weld from top to bottom. All right, I got it C-clamped to the bench. Got this locked down, just snug. And then I got this piece done. That's just gonna go like that. I V'd the bottom just a little bit. I'm really trying to just make this a fast project here, guys. I'm gonna go around, weld it real quick, and then I'll mount it on the lathe. So I had this piece of plate laying around. It's for a project I went in a different direction. It's got a 1-inch steel shaft pressed into this disc. What I'm going to do is just machine a little lip, on the inside there. And I'm going to make it to the inside diameter of this rim. Then I'll bore a hole in the center, tap it for like a 3/8 bolt. And I'll put some sort of a plate just to hold the rim to this arbor when I cut it. This mounted, all my welds done, kind of ground them down just a little on the sides, but I left the bottom around here full welded because I want the strength. Now I'm going to mount this on the tool post holder just like that, tighten down my set screws, and I'll go mount it on the lathe. All right, just going to slide that down on the tool post. Lock the handle. I think that should be good. Might just have to mess around with it. I could kind of change the angle as I need and move it out or in. I'm going to finish up. This is the mount for the wheel itself. Finish that up, and always try to cover your ways, guys. Like, these are all just steel chips. That's not nearly as bad as grinding dust. So I'll probably get like a piece of sheet metal, lay it over the ways, and then I'll cut my wheel. All right, guys, I'm practically bursting at the seams with excitement right now. I have it mounted. I did notice when I had the tool post straight, parallel to the ways, let's say, I was going to hit the head of the grinder into the bead area on my rim. So what I did was just loosen the top nut, pivot this back, loosen the Allens holding the grinder, and kind of put it on like a 30-degree angle, let's say, but then straighten the grinder out so the grinder's still perpendicular to the ways. I put a new grinding disc. I think this is a 5-inch. I do have an adapter to put a larger one. I ran out of room on my cross slide, so I can't really back it out much more. I could keep trying to tilt this at a steeper angle and then put a larger disc if I need to, but I think this is gonna work out pretty good. I just mocked that up. I'm gonna end up making one cut like right here, and then another cut about right there. All right, I got this just stuck on there for now. I still have to bore the center, do all that junk, but just want to give you guys an idea what you're starting to look like. And I basically can move it in and out. Got plenty of room at this angle. And I'm going to take out, I believe it's 2 inches. So I'm gonna make a mark here, let's say 2 inches from the edge of the rim. And then I'll go in 2 inches, take this middle piece out. So I'll make one cut here, another cut here, remove the center band, and then I have to make up like a ball bearing type of tool for the post. And I'm gonna run the ball bearing against this piece as it's spinning and try to get it to act like a form tool and kind of bend it out a little bit so it can mate back up with. Whoa. All right, guys, I drilled a centering hole there, centering starting point, I should say. Now I'm gonna go to my old snap-on tap and die set. Look down the chart here, and I'm going to find a 3/8 thread. So it's 3/8 16 threads per inch. I need a 21/64 drill bit. We'll get that, I'll chuck it up in the old turret, and I'll bore it in probably about an inch. Then I'll come back with the tap and I'll cut the thread. All right, I got the hole drilled out. Got my 3/8 16 tap in the holder. You can see the back of it is drilled, so I could bring the live center in and it'll just spin like that. So I'll bring this guy in like that. I'll move the live center right up to the back of it, and I'll slowly start tapping it in. I'll lock the spindle in the front and start spinning this on the live center, and I'll just keep some pressure on the turret. The turret will push in as the threads continue to go deeper into the metal. You can see I just put a piece of sheet metal down on the bottom. It was literally something I just had in my scrap bin. Actually has a little curve to it, so it fit pretty good. You know, it's not gonna catch everything, guys, but just do the best you can. Now I got the grinder all set up. What I need to do, sorry for the horrible camera work, guys. Okay, so what I need to do is measure 2 inches off of the edge of the rim, and then I'm just gonna come down, move the carriage over. Obviously I can't do this that well with one hand, but you guys get the idea. All right, so I need to go back 1/4 inch. I'm gonna set that at 2, and then I'll start spinning it and make my cut, see if I can get some of that on camera for you guys.